I think it was at Free Northwest. Hold on, let me check that. Alright, seeing as mostly every brony is throwing their 2 bits into this subject, I thought I might as well throw mine in as well. I'd said as well a lot of those things. Anyway, the whole Alicorn Twilight business. There are 2 ways this is. It's either false or it's true. If it's true, something that they'll most likely be doing, and it's something that seemed reasonable. Well, not reasonable, but it's the only really thing that would make sense, is that she becomes the princess, and then she realizes it's not what she wanted, and that she feels bad, she left her friends, or blah blah blah, and so she becomes un-alicorned. It's more than likely, though, that it's false, because you can't really leak spoilers like that, because that gives away a giant plot chunk just by doing that, because the guy said he was recently brought on, and even if you're recently brought on or anything like this, you have to sign contracts and non-disclosure forms that you're not going to reveal up-and-coming stuff unless you're, like, allowed to. I mean, yeah, a company might leak something to get people hyped up, like, oh, what's going on, what's this? But it'd be little things, and he also said that Derpy was being taken completely out of Season 4. That would be bad for the animators, because Derpy is, they use Derpy a lot more now, not only because it appeals to bronies, but because it's okay. It's that little juicy tidbit for the large fan base that is following My Little Pony. Because then everyone's like, oh, I saw Derpy. But they also need background ponies. That's why, like, any scene that has, whether it be a filly or, like, one of the older mares or stallions or colts or whatever, for example, you see Carmel and Colgate and Time Turner. Carmel will be young, will be a mare sometimes, like in the Over a Barrel, I think it is. I think that's what the name is. Where, like, the buffaloes and Appaloosa and all that, you see Carmel, but Carmel's no longer a stallion, she's a mare. And Colgate has Time Turner's cutie mark, because it would take too long for them to have to redraw all these other background characters, so now they can kind of get away with using Derpy as a more background character than they could before. But even with the spoiler video, it's making it seem more like it's true. And I'll link, because the video's taken off YouTube, but there's a, like, capture of seeing it on TV. Like, someone's recording the TV showing it. And I'll link the website in the description. But, if it's real, my guess is she's gonna decide not to be a princess anymore. She'll be like, oh, this is too hard, or oh, it's most likely gonna be I miss my friends. And she'll write to Celestia, oh, I realized that blah blah blah, it's not as much fun without my friends, it's not as whatever. So yeah, that's my 2 bits on the subject. And another thing, if they weren't gonna do some kind of plot like that, and the guy was saying, oh, there's gonna be a Season 4, that's verified, I doubt that if that didn't happen, there would be a Season 4, because that's kind of a large... Twilight's kind of a large part of that group, you know, the elements of harmony and stuff, you know? The main part of Friendship is Magic. Can't really have the whole set without magic. And they couldn't really do the show if she has to do princessy stuff. So yeah, there's that plot hole. And yeah, that's about it. There's an annoying little bit at the end of the video with it's just an added bit from Adventure Time, so ignore that part, but other than that, yeah. That's a commercial for it. If you look on like any forum, there's also a picture that I'll probably put in the video of a big poster in the background with an Alicorn Twilight, so it's looking more and more like it's real. But either way, I think the writers are good enough to be able to handle this well. I think I just said I think a lot. I think Hasbro might have pushed that, to sell more toys. But then the writer's like, alright, Alicorn Twilight, let's not keep her in Alicorn. Let's have her learn a valuable part of friendship. And that. I really hope there's a season 4. I hope he's not wrong about that. I hope he's not wrong about the derpy gets canned in season 4 blah-de-blah stuff either. I can also see something else coming from this. The whole one pony will discover her destiny or whatever, and then everyone's like, oh, that's obviously Twilight. Well, I think if that was the season finale, they could leave it at a giant cliffhanger like that, and then everyone would be waiting for it, up sales, up all the reactions, I guess. But I mean, my previous points still stand. If there are points at all, I mean, this is just my opinion. Feel free to disagree. But I think that would make an interesting season finale. I think it would also be a very dick move season finale. They'd be like, what will Twilight do? Will she choose to be a princess or be with her friends? That's not cool. I hope that's not what it is, because if so, not cool. Though I blame most of this on Hasbro because corporate greed and all that. I mean, bronies buy stuff, get a lot of stuff, because I'm pretty sure that brony fandom is larger than the intended audience. But I think people are like, who think that they're trying to do stuff that the bronies won't like, because I mean, if you're a little girl, you're not going to be like, oh, that's a plot hole. Well, actually, you might be like, she shouldn't abandon her friends, but other people would be like, oh my goodness, Twilight's an Alicorn. So there's that, but I doubt Hasbro is stupid enough to get rid of. I mean, if they're doing this out of corporate greed, I very highly doubt that they'll do something to get rid of it. And if they get such an overwhelming negative response, they might just pull it. I don't know. They might say, alright, they'll probably go to the writers, alright, fix this. People don't like it. Like with the whole derpy thing, when the original derpy, then they had to change it. They might do something like that, who knows. So I can kind of almost guarantee, and anyone with any knowledge of business practice can tell you this, but the more I'm looking on forums and stuff, people are like, oh, is this Hasbro's way of trying to get rid of the bronies? No. That's stupid, because we give them money. So, I mean, we're not doing anything that decreases their sales, really. We are the majority of people that go to cons. And you can't just host a con saying, oh, like you can't just on a whim host a con. You actually have to get permission from the companies that own whatever you're doing a con about. So, like, the brony cons that were the Everfree Con, BronyCon, the Lost Pegasus Con that's coming up, and all the other cons, Hasbro gets money for that too. You have to buy a ticket to get into the cons, I believe. They get money for that, because people buy booths at conventions to sell stuff, and all that money goes to the person who organized it. But then That money gets split, however, and goes to Hasbro. Hasbro only has to give the permission for these unless Hasbro themselves is hosting it. Like the Everfree Northwest people, I think it was Everfree Northwest. Hold on, let me check that.